You know, it's funny. I wore an orange shirt today because I thought I was going to film in the daylight, but now that I'm filming under like a kind of a, I guess a street light, but I'm in the park, you know, like a park light, it gives off this really horrid bright effect that I don't want myself to look this glowing. Yeah. I look like I'm just glowing, like my skin's so pale, it just, yeah, forget it. Tonight is a big video under horrible lighting. It's about panic attacks. This is one of the main videos you will have to watch from me on panic attacks. Yes. There will be more on stuff related to anxiety that links with panic disorder and stuff like that, but this is mainly about panic disorder. And the symptoms, you may not even be aware that you have it. So if you know anyone with these symptoms, just let them know that's what it probably is. Just stuff that you should do during an attack. I got this helpful information from my friend Jackie mainly. You're going to ask yourself, you're going to be hit with a lot of symptoms, sometimes different each time, depending on how bad it is. You're going to ask, is this normal? And you'll freak out. Well, I'm telling you, it probably is. It's probably the symptoms of a panic attack. Sometimes you'll get heat flashes, and all of a sudden you'll start sweating for no apparent reason. Now, I have a theory about that. I'm wondering if it's because you never exercise. Not sure about that. But then you just start sweating for no reason. You know, you feel like there's sweat between your toes or between your hands, or it's just weird places, you know. A hot flash. Sometimes you'll get chills, and it'll feel like you're freezing cold more than you should be. Like you could be in normal temperature and you feel like you're freezing cold. And that's when you start shaking. So that's another thing. Don't go to sleep when it's super cold. Turn up the air a little bit. If your parents have a problem about that, just tell them, you know, if they're considerate, they'll understand. Just make sure it's not too cold. If it gets bad enough, you'll start having shortness of breath, maybe sometimes hyperventilating. And as embarrassing as it is, you might not even mention it to some people. Having the urge to go to the bathroom. Yeah, and you'll know what I mean. Like, you know, I've been a victim of this for 2 years now, or almost 3. I know what that's like. You'll feel lightheaded, you'll feel like you can't think, you'll feel like you're spacing out. You may even have a migraine for a lot of the time if you're super stressed. I have a friend who said she had migraines. And I said it's probably from stress, because if you're stressed a lot, you do get headaches. You'll have a tight chest sometimes, maybe even pain, maybe in your stomach, pains anywhere. You know, if you feel just pain out of nowhere, then that's why. If you feel tight, sometimes if it's bad enough, you'll feel like if you get up too fast or if you walk too much, you'll start to have an attack. If you take showers, you may even have an attack sometimes. That's normal too, like if you're sensitive to water. Like you can't even go outside in the rain. Alright, more things you want to do to prevent panic attacks and triggers that cause panic attacks. Let me tell you. 1, don't drink caffeine. I drank Mountain Dew for a year and I withdrew from that. I'm wondering if that was one of the things that caused my panic attacks, because I did it for a year straight and I weaned myself off of it because I used to do it every day for a year straight. That's loaded with caffeine, and I felt terrible. I think that might have been what you know, shortly before the first panic attack started. So I'm wondering about that. So don't hype yourself up on caffeine. Like even if it's a little bit, just don't. Like you can drink stuff like Sprite because that's caffeine free, but also don't overload yourself with sugar, because if you have like a sugar crash, that causes a panic attack. Especially if you like eat some sugar before you go to sleep, that can do it. Sometimes you have to watch your sugar intake. What I'm going to tell you is you're going to have to go on a diet. Alcohol and drugs. No, I'm not telling you just to say be clean here. I'm being serious. This is what triggers panic attacks: alcohol and drugs, and if you smoke, like at all. Even being around the smoke, like seriously, you can't. Like you can't be around the smoke at all. If you're used to it, I know it would suck, but I'm just saying, if you want to recover, this is the way to do it. Something else that causes it is celiac disease. It's a disease that I have, and it's not like super bad, like, oh, he's gonna die, or oh, he's suffering. You only suffer if you like feed it. You don't really suffer just if you feel really bad. Like celiac disease is like you can't have wheat or wheat products, because back in the day we used to have factories that, you know, separated the grain from the stalk of the wheat stalk, and they don't do that anymore, and the gluten comes from the stalk. Now, you can have oatmeal or anything like oats, like Honey Nut Cheerios. That's fine. That's been confirmed, as far as I know, it's been confirmed gluten-free. And Domino's, they have gluten-free pizza. If you don't like Domino's, well, tough luck. They're the only pizza company I know of that's doing gluten-free pizza, and I love it. You'll start to feel dehydrated sometimes, and you'll feel sick sometimes, like nauseous and lightheaded sometimes because of that. It also can cause your digestive tract to, like, you won't receive all the nutrients that you're supposed to when you eat stuff. You'll like suffer from malnutrition. I won't, suffer is kind of a rough term, but it'll really affect you, and it causes depression, and that is bad for anxiety. So I would check yourself for that. Also, being around allergies, anything that triggers your allergies, like maybe cats, pollen, always look on weather.com, type in your zip code to see if there's pollen in the air before you go outside. If you do have to travel somewhere, wear a face mask. Also, don't go to bed on an empty stomach. I've probably mentioned that before, but don't go to bed hungry. Do not. One thing that causes panic attacks is low blood sugar. Like sometimes, and going to bed on low blood sugar, it can make you tired if you have low blood sugar also.